Dinner was a silent affair, silverware scraped against china, eyes fixed on plates. An invisible wall stood tall, separating them.
I long to bridge the chasm, to reach for her, but the weight of unspoken words holds me back.
John, his face etched with fatigue, mechanically chewed his food. She feels invisible in her own home. Across the table, Mary traced patterns on her napkin. Her heart ached with a familiar loneliness. They existed in a shared silence, more deafening than any argument. Why bother, John thought, pushing away his plate. Each passing day felt like navigating a minefield of unspoken resentments and anxieties.
I crave her touch, her laughter, the warmth we once shared so effortlessly. Now, silence has become the unwelcome guest, settling between us like a shroud.
Mary fought back tears.
As she thinks, he doesn't even see me anymore. I yearn to be seen, to be heard, to feel the spark of connection that once burned so brightly.
Their thoughts, trapped in the cages of their own making, became their jailers. Work consumed John, becoming more than just a job. It was his sanctuary, a place where he could lose himself in tasks and deadlines, avoiding the gnawing emptiness that awaited him at home. The office, with its constant hum of activity, was a convenient escape from the silence that greeted him every evening. Each step he took away from the building felt heavier, as if the weight of his unspoken troubles grew with every passing moment. He found solace in the praise of colleagues, their words of encouragement a temporary balm for his troubled soul. The camaraderie and recognition he received at work were a stark contrast to the cold indifference he felt at home. The emptiness in his marriage was a void he couldn't fill, no matter how hard he tried. The office was his refuge, a place where he could pretend, even if just for a few hours, that everything was all right.
At least here, I feel appreciated. In the garden, surrounded by the vibrant colors and the sweet scent of flowers, I can forget the coldness that has crept into our home.
Mary sought refuge in her garden, a sanctuary where she could escape the growing distance between her and John. Each flower she nurtured was a testament to the love and attention she longed for. She poured her heart into her garden, nurturing her flowers with the love and attention she craved from John. The garden flourished under her care, a stark contrast to the withering connection she felt in her marriage.
These flowers at least respond to my care. They bloom and grow, unlike the love that once blossomed between John and me.
She poured her heart into each petal and leaf, finding solace in their silent beauty. The garden became her confidant, a place where she could express her unspoken fears and hopes. In the quiet moments spent among the flowers, Mary found a semblance of peace. The garden's beauty was a stark contrast to the turmoil she felt inside, a reminder of the love she once shared with John. The distance between them widened, creating a fertile ground for doubt and suspicion to take root. Each passing day, the shadows of doubt grew longer, casting a pall over their once vibrant relationship. One evening, a seemingly insignificant event shattered the fragile peace. A misplaced scarf, a forgotten errand sparked a confrontation. Accusations flew, fueled by years of unspoken resentment and hurt.
Why don't you ever listen?
Why don't you ever listen?
John's frustration at feeling constantly criticized boiled over. Mary's pain at feeling ignored and unappreciated finally found a voice. John stared at her, truly seeing her pain for the first time in years. The walls of silence, shaken by their outburst, began to crumble. The dam of silence broke, releasing a torrent of emotions. Years of suppressed hurt, unspoken desires, and simmering anger poured out. They sat amidst the wreckage of their outburst, vulnerable and raw. John saw the depth of Mary's pain, the loneliness in her eyes mirroring his own. Mary, through her tears, glimpsed the love that still flickered beneath John's anger, buried under layers of disappointment and neglect. The silence that followed their confrontation was different. It wasn't the cold, distant silence of anger or resentment. Instead, it was a silence filled with the weight of unspoken words and the echoes of past conversations. It was a silence that spoke volumes, a silence that held the promise of understanding and the potential for healing. This time, it was a silence of understanding, of shared pain, and a tentative hope for healing. They had both been through so much, and now, in this quiet moment, they were beginning to see each other in a new light. The silence was no longer a barrier but a bridge, connecting their hearts and minds in a way that words never could. They began to speak again, not in accusations but in whispers. These whispers were gentle and filled with vulnerability. They spoke of their fears, their regrets, and their hopes for the future. Each whisper was a step towards rebuilding the trust that had been shattered, a step towards healing the wounds that had festered for so long. Whispers of regret, of longing, of the love that had been buried but not extinguished. They whispered about the moments they had missed, the opportunities they had let slip by, and the dreams they still held close to their hearts. These whispers were the foundation upon which they would rebuild their relationship, a relationship that had been tested but not broken.
I listened, truly listened, as Mary spoke of her loneliness, her fears. She opened up about the nights she spent awake, wondering if things would ever get better. Her voice trembled as she spoke, but there was a strength in her vulnerability that I had never seen before. It was in these moments that I realized how much I had taken her for granted.
I saw John's exhaustion, the pressures he carried, and the unspoken love he still held for me. His eyes, though tired, were filled with a depth of emotion that words could not capture. He spoke of the burdens he had shouldered alone, the nights he had spent worrying about our future. In his eyes, I saw a reflection of my own pain and a glimmer of the love that had brought us together in the first place.
They began to build bridges, slowly, carefully, with whispers of understanding and shared pain. Each whisper was a brick, each moment of silence a mortar, binding them together in a way that was stronger than before. They knew it wouldn't be easy, that there would be setbacks and challenges, but they were committed to the journey. Together, they would rebuild what had been broken, one whisper at a time. The journey back from the brink of silence was not easy. It required conscious effort, patience, and a deep understanding of each other's unspoken words. They had to navigate through the labyrinth of their emotions, often feeling lost but never giving up on each other. It was a path that demanded a willingness to confront their own vulnerabilities. They learned to communicate, not just with words, but with gestures, glances, and the silent language of love that only they could understand. They began to express their needs and fears, peeling back the layers of their hearts to reveal the raw, unfiltered truth. It was in these moments of honesty that they found a new kind of strength. They learned to listen with open hearts, truly hearing each other for the first time in years. This active listening became the cornerstone of their renewed connection. They rediscovered the joy in shared laughter, those moments of lightness that made the heavy days bearable. Laughter became their shared refuge, a reminder of the love that still existed beneath the surface. The comfort in a loving touch was something they had taken for granted. Now, every touch was a reaffirmation of their bond, a silent promise to be there for each other. They found strength in simply being present for one another, in the quiet moments where words were unnecessary. Their presence alone spoke volumes.
Love, we realized, was not a destination but a journey. It was a continuous process of growth, understanding, and mutual respect.
It required constant nurturing, open communication, and a shared commitment to breaking the silence before it broke us. We had to be vigilant, always aware of the subtle shifts in our relationship. Together, we faced our issues head-on, resolving conflicts with empathy and understanding. It was this shared effort that kept us moving forward.
And so they walked hand in hand, embracing a fresh start and a renewed commitment to their relationship. Each step they took was a testament to their love and determination. With every glance and every embrace, they reaffirmed their promise to each other, a promise to never let silence come between them again.